It's going to happen soon. We have huge leaks for big reveals that are about to pop, including one for God of War Ragnarok, Hogwarts Legacy, and way more. Also, a brand new game by former Days Gone creative director was announced, just like a new title from the team behind Total War and Alien Isolation, with more leaks hinting at even more new game reveals soon. So we got a ton to go over. Of course, if you like these big Sunday videos, then leaving a like would really be awesome, and subscribe, because every Sunday I post a big rumor and a news roundup video like this. I want to start with God of War, because that can happen like any moment. Maybe the potential state of play is already revealed when you watch this. I will have timestamps with the other topics I discuss in the video bar, because the Snitch, the most recent and so far most credible leaker maybe ever, tweeted this gif with 4x1 and 1x0. With many people, including Ash in my Twitter mentions, putting this in a binary to decimal converter, with results being 30. Likely meaning that we get the release date announcement on Thursday, June 30th, which also lines up with a report from Jason Schreier earlier in June, where he noted that publisher Sony Group Corp is expected to announce the release date later this month, two of the people said. And he also mentioned that the game was planned for a release this November, which then likely true as well. The 11/11/22 Starfield date is still open, I can see it happen. And as I mentioned in my previous Sunday video, Corey is out of nowhere back on Twitter. He was of course the director on the previous God of War. He's teasing things as well, so it's all lining up. The Snitch also followed up with a tweet saying order, maybe hinting at pre-orders going live, which would really make sense, as that usually happens when a release date is revealed. Although worth noting that for Horizon it was 1 week after the release date was announced, so maybe we see something similar here. I would overall imagine that it's more fleshed out than some shield skins and an XP boost that we got for pre-ordering the 2018 game. There were some physical items in a deluxe edition as well. We did get a special God of War PS4 Pro. Maybe we see like special faceplates for the PS5 this time, would be cool. So June 30th seems to be it for God of War Ragnarok, maybe with a state of play, although I can also see them just drop a blog post. And speaking of extra pre-order and deluxe edition items, it seems like Hogwarts Legacy is going to have a bunch of them as well, although we already know that there will of course be no microtransactions whatsoever. Over on Reddit, we got Opal Element 11, who shared how in the source of the official website you can see mentions of special items that are not announced yet. So there were 8 bonuses mentioned that you see right here, with the Testral Mount being the really cool winged horse that is only viewable for people that have seen death, otherwise it will just be invisible. So it seems like a flying mount we can use. Maybe it's like part of the deluxe edition. That's kind of the theory right now, that the deluxe edition also comes with the dark arts items, which include the cosmetic pack, so dark wizard style cosmetics for our character. We also see a hat as the 4th item. With on 3, the Dark Arts Battle Arena. So potentially a skin for the student dueling club. We saw a couple of times, of course, in the state of play. Now this is interesting. There's also a 72-hour, so 3-day early access to the game, meaning that that likely starts on Tuesday, with then the official launch being on a Friday. And high chance that this then also, of course, part of a more expensive deluxe style edition. This was also the case for last year's Back 4 Blood, which was also published by Warner Bros. We also see a mention of a Kelpie robe. Kelpies are sea monsters in the Harry Potter universe, so probably a robe themed after those creatures. And this could be like a pre-order bonus, because for Gotham Knights we see a Bat Cycle skin, which, yeah, would be kind of similar to like a robe for your character. And then we also see a steel case and a floating ancient magic wand with book, which might be for like a physical edition. We've seen some new gameplay like here and there that I publish on my second channel, Raptor Roll, but I really hope we get like a new trailer soon. I still kind of need to get used to this new era, because usually after the E3 season we would know what the next 6 or even 9 months would look like, but now everyone keeps their cards close to their chest and really shows a game off when they're close to being done.
This of course also means that release dates are being pushed less often, which is nice, but yeah, I think it's still overall weird that we have no date for Hogwarts Legacy yet, or a gameplay reveal for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, for example, while both are planned for this year. October is packed though, as Benjisils also perfectly puts on Twitter, while we still do not have a lot of dates for November or December. And A Plague Tale Requiem got an October 18th date this week, and also an extended trailer. I'm actually playing through the original right now, really liking it, so I don't want to look too much at the new footage, but yeah, I will totally play the sequel when it releases. And maybe another game that will join the crowded October window, or could drop like later in the year, Skull and Bones. Tom Henderson namely has leaked that we will see a re-reveal of the game at the beginning of July. It's understood that Ubisoft will finally confirm a release date for the long-awaited title, officially reveal gameplay, and share some additional details. So with them potentially revealing it now, I would not be surprised if we still saw it this year, but that's just speculation on my part. I'm for one excited that we can then finally showcase the new footage instead of looking at the old 2017 to 2018 footage. I'm of course curious how much the game has changed, and if Ubisoft can convince people that naval-only gameplay is enough for a pirate game. Because I have my doubts, but we will see. The week of July 4th is what Tom is saying. He also leaked the fact that Skate 4 will see a reveal in July, so likely a blowout similar to Skull and Bones. The only difference of course is that we haven't seen actual gameplay of this title yet, but that will change. Content creators and journalists will also have the opportunity to play and get hands-on with the game to give their impressions. It should also be further along than we think, so we might even see like a release date sooner than expected. That would be interesting. It will be a while though before we see the new game from ex-Sony veterans called Ashfall. This was just announced and we got some pretty cool looking art. The world has been destroyed by global warming and we as the player have to survive. It's a third-person action game. I'm overall kind of getting Division vibes in a way. And John Garvin, the creative director on Days Gone, will be working on this, and he will also release a digital comic to already tell the story of Ashfall before it releases. And Michael Mumbauer, who worked on Uncharted and The Last of Us in the Sony visual arts team, is also part of this. So yeah, that all sounds pretty great, but then they describe the game. So Ashfall will start as a single player adventure, which then transforms into a multiplayer PvE and PvP transmedia world. And this already gives me a pause. A structure like that did not work for Avengers either. Like, I don't think that people who want a single player will likely stick around for the multiplayer part, and people who enjoy the multiplayer immediately want to jump into that. But there is more, because Litos, the developer, plans to add the Hedera network to the AAA game, which is a blockchain alternative called Hashgraph. This allows players to buy, sell, and trade within Ashfall. So this kind of killed my interest for the game. I just don't want to like think about making money while playing a game, because you usually play games to kind of escape the real world. And the Ni no Kuni mobile game, Crossworlds, also shows why this is a bad idea. It has blockchain integration, so now the game is overrun by bots because they're trying to make money, and this is causing servers to be full, so the actual people who like the game and want to play it cannot. Really great. I also want to touch on another new game that was announced. I like discussing those in the Sunday videos. Hyenas, a new FPS from Creative Assembly behind Total War and Alien Isolation. It's a 15-player multiplayer title, 3 teams of 5, and you have to steal merchandise, which seem to be pop culture artifacts, including a Sonic figurine. It's of course easier said than done. There are AI enemies to fight, and of course other players, and you also have to escape with the loot. The twist is that there are 0G areas or locations where you can switch the gravity on and off to use it to your advantage. But yeah, as you see, it's another hero shooter with colorful characters and also a glue gun that was also in Insomniac's Overstrike that then later sadly turned into Fuse. Overall, pretty interesting that they felt the need to change Overstrike to the more generic brown sort of style that we got in Fuse. Maybe it was EA telling Insomniac to do that, while right now, more than 10 years later, because if you think about it, Overstrike was really ahead of its time. E3 2011, now many games look like this. But yeah, Hyenas, we will see if it finds an audience. Overall, it's interesting that the summer of gaming once again continues in July as well.
Like, it makes sense for these games to find their own sort of day, so they are like really in the spotlight, don't have to compete with other games. But yeah, it does mean that, like, for me, I want to like make sure that I can cover everything, but there's never a good time to go away now. Luckily, Joyce and Dennis will be taking over because yes, I will be on a quick holiday break. Early July makes sense, I think. So yeah, they will of course cover everything here on the channel. I will still be preparing a Sunday video, so that will be next week. Like, if something big happens, I cannot cover it, but it will still be a fun video. So yeah, check that out, of course. Subscribe to miss nothing. Again, other videos will mostly be done by Joyce and Dennis, so that will be a lot of fun as well. A like on the video would really help me out. And check out my previous video on the future of Guerrilla Games and what they have been cooking up. Because they also got a secret second project that they've been working on for quite a while. Maybe we see it soon. Check that video out if you haven't already, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.